You want to see something wonderful? Yeah. If you get to meet the wizard, he grants your heart's desire.
Alright, Wicked fans, the wait for part 2 feels like forever, but we're inching closer, and the hype is real. From new songs to major twists and mysteries that we can't stop obsessing over, there's so much to unpack. So grab your broomsticks or bubbles, and let's dive into it. Here are 7 things we know about Wicked Part 2. Kicking off our list at number 7 is Dorothy's debut. The rumor mill is working overtime, and whispers are flying around faster than Elphaba herself about Dorothy's role in Wicked Part 2. Fans think they've cracked the case, pointing to none other than Matilda the musical star Alisha Weir. The 15-year-old Irish actress has been popping up on Wicked red carpets, fueling speculation that she's about to step into those iconic slippers. Silver ones, in this case, not ruby. Director John M. Chu isn't making sleeping any easier at night, with all these theories swirling around our heads either. In a recent interview with Variety, he hinted that Dorothy might not be a full-fledged character in the sequel, but will certainly have her moments. He confirmed there's interaction and crossover, leaving us to speculate just how involved she'll be without stealing the spotlight from Elphaba and Glinda. But let's be honest, we can't really see that happening with the powerhouse duo still in Oz. If the movie takes a page from the original show, Dorothy's role will be low-key. On stage, she's mostly referenced, with her silhouette briefly appearing to melt Elphaba in the second half. The focus was squarely on Elphaba's journey and her tangled relationship with Glinda, and the film seems likely to follow suit. But let's not forget, this is Hollywood. We wouldn't be shocked if Dorothy swoops in with a plot twist we didn't see coming. I mean, a cinematic curveball? Give it to us! If Alisha Weir does step into the role, it's a game changer for her career. With standout performances in Matilda the musical and the 2024 horror flick Abigail, she's already proven she's got the range. Taking on Dorothy, one of the most iconic characters in cinema, could cement her as Hollywood's next big rising star. Fans are ready to see if she can bring a fresh, modern twist to a timeless classic, and honestly, so are we. Number 6 is the expanded story. After years of anticipation, Wicked fans finally got to see the first part of the Oz prequel, and it's been an absolute hit. With Part 1 bringing the magic to the big screen, we're all left wondering how Part 2 will take things to the next level. Director John M. Chu has been teasing the sequel's darker turn, explaining that Movie 1 is all about choices, and Movie 2 is about consequences. He also hints at a deep dive into what happens when those choices come back to bite you, and when the place you once called home turns its back on you. Now, we're here for all the chaos that's coming. Glinda serving new looks in a wedding dress? I mean, that's new, right? She never wears anything close to one in the musical, but from Part 1's trailer, it looks like there are wedding bells on the horizon. Maybe. And that's when the light bulb went off. What if Glinda and Fiyero are set to get married? And before they can say I do, guards burst in with the news that Elphaba has been spotted, causing Fiyero to bolt from the altar? To the public, it might look like he's just fulfilling his captain of the guard duties. But what if his actions are actually motivated by his feelings for Elphaba, driving him to leave? Alexa, play Taylor Swift The Bolter! Another possible could be Fiyero not turning up and Glinda getting left at the altar. Ouch! Or maybe the wedding scene is all but a dream sequence from Glinda, setting the tone of her mourning the loss of her relationship with Fiyero. Poor girl does a lot of mourning, huh? This could lead into her singing I'm Not That Girl, reprised from Part 1. And honestly, if that's not a killer scene, we don't know what is. Universal, you know where to find us. With Part 1 already cooking in at nearly 2 hours and 40 minutes, essentially the full Broadway show length, we can expect Part 2 to pack in even more story, with a deeper emotional journey for both Glinda and Elphaba as they face the aftermath of their decisions. Number 5, a darker story. While Wicked Part 1 introduces us to Elphaba discovering the truth about the wizard and embracing her power, Part 2 is set to crank up the intensity. The sequel promises a darker, more emotionally charged story, diving into the fallout of the characters' decisions. Elphaba's path grows increasingly lonely as she's hunted and demonized, fully embodying her role as the Wicked Witch. Meanwhile, Glinda must grapple with the emotional weight of choosing public adoration over standing by her friend, questioning whether it was worth it. And if that's not enough, relationships like Nessa and Boakes take a more tragic turn, adding layers of heartbreak and bitterness. Director John M. Chu has teased that Part 2 will focus on the consequences of the choices made in the first film, delving deeper into betrayal, loss, and manipulation. Fans on the stage musical know the second act already brings the emotional drama, and that will take center stage in the sequel. But don't worry, it's not all heavy stuff. Chu reassures us that the sequel won't lose its sense of fun, explaining there is lots of lightness in the movie, but there's a matureness and a nuance to it that we earned from the first movie. With Wicked Part 2 tying closer to the themes of The Wizard of Oz, we're bracing for a roller coaster of betrayal, redemption, and bittersweet moments. We can expect it to be darker, deeper, and more dramatic, but with enough lightheartedness to keep us hooked every step of the way. And oh boy, are we ready for it already! Number 4. New songs. Wicked Part 2 is bringing something fresh to the table. 2 brand new songs. While we don't know exactly what these tracks will be about, one thing we do know is that they come straight from the original musical's legendary composer and lyricist, Stephen Schwartz, who's also an executive producer for the films. So yeah, we're in good hands. Schwartz himself has hinted that the new songs were added because the storytelling required it, which makes sense given that the movies have more time to dive deeper into Elphaba and Glinda's journeys. This opens the door to some exciting possibilities. Maybe the songs will explore Elphaba's transformation into the Wicked Witch, or give us more insight into her strained relationship with Glinda. There's also speculation that Dorothy's arrival in Oz could inspire one of these tunes. Whatever the case, these additions are sure to add emotional weight and fresh layers to the story. Of course, creating new songs for a beloved musical isn't without risk. Fans have cherished the Wicked soundtrack since 2003, and adding new material might ruffle some feathers. But let's be real, if anyone can pull it off, it's Schwartz, with Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande leading the cast. The potential for unforgettable performances is sky high. While the original Wicked movie had the luxury of using songs already loved by audiences, Part 2 faces the challenge of introducing new music that has to hold its own against the classics. Whether these songs become instant favorites or spark heated debates, they're bound to bring something exciting to the world of Wicked. Number 3. Nessarose's Spell. There's no denying that Wicked is a cultural juggernaut and one of the most beloved musicals ever. But that doesn't mean it's perfect. One major criticism since its 2003 debut has been how Nessarose, a character with a disability, is portrayed, particularly in a key Act 2 scene. But it looks like Wicked Part 2 is addressing this head-on, and it's a huge deal for representation. Marissa Bode, who plays Nessarose in the film and is a real-life wheelchair user, shared some updates about her character's arc. In the stage musical, Nessarose's story takes a dark turn. After a time jump and becoming the governor of Munchkinland, she gains a reputation as a wicked witch, driven by her insecurities and desperation to keep folk by her side. When Elphaba visits her, Nessarose demands her sister use magic to fix her. Elphaba obliges by enchanting her shoes to make her walk, a moment that has been criticized for its problematic implication that disability needs curing. But that scene is set to be reimagined for the film. According to Poe, director John M. Chu worked to remove the fixing element altogether. Instead, the focus shifts to the broader magic of the story. As Marissa explains, it's less about Nessarose pleading to change her disability and more about celebrating the magic in the story and in general. The rewrite is not just a win for Nessarose's character, but a huge step forward for inclusivity. Marissa is the first wheelchair user to portray Nessarose, and this change ensures her story feels empowering rather than reductive. We're excited to see which direction they take with this key change, and we'd love to know how would you want to see this iconic moment handled in the film. Let us know your thoughts. Coming in at number 2, the release date. We all know Wicked is a 2-act masterpiece on stage, so it only makes sense for the movie adaptation to follow suit. And let's be real, ending Part 1 with Defying Gravity? Iconic! But why split the movie into 2 parts? Director John M. Chu gave us the lowdown back in April 2022, explaining that cramming the entire story into one film would have meant cutting corners, songs, characters, and key moments. Basically, cinema suicide waiting to happen. But in his words that felt like fatal compromises to the story we've loved for decades. Instead, Chu opted for a bigger canvas to give the story and his beloved characters the depth and attention they deserve. It also means we can expect some surprises, as the expanded format lets them dive deeper into the world of Oz. Sure, waiting for Part 2 will feel like forever, but the good news is the 2 films were shot back to back. So at least we know it's all happening, and we won't be stuck holding our breath for years. We're itching for more, but if it means getting Wicked done right, we'll just sit patiently, waiting for November 21st, 2025, when it's set to hit theaters. And topping off our list at number 1 is We Need Answers. Alright, let's talk about this mysterious hooded rider. You remember the moment in Part 1? The camera pans over Dorothy walking the yellow brick road, broom in hand, and BAM! A shadowy figure on horseback races toward the Emerald City. But who is it? Theories are flying, and we need answers. The obvious pick would be Fiyero, right?
Right!
Wrong. He's literally with Dorothy on the yellow brick road, so scratch that. Then there's Glinda. Could she be sneaking off to the palace to get ahead of Dorothy and the gang? Makes sense. She wouldn't float her bubble there because it's too conspicuous. But hey, anything can happen, right? But let's not forget the most likely possibility, Elphaba herself. What if this writer is her, escaping her so-called death at Kiamoko? The timing fits if we're jumping to events after her melting. Concept art even shows her wearing a hood similar to what we see in the opening scene, adding fuel to the theory. Plus, if you notice during the melting scene, her iconic cape wasn't in that puddle. Could she have kept it to cover herself while fleeing? Sounds pretty damn likely. And to throw in another twist, what if Fiyero sent his horse to retrieve her? After Dorothy and crew wrap up their broom-delivering duties, Elphaba could be on her way to reunite with him. It's all speculation at this stage, but have you got a theory? Spill it in the comments. We're all ears. And that's a wrap on our 7 things we know about Wicked Part 2. What are you most hyped to see in the sequel? Have you got theories, hopes, or some wild guesses? Hit us up in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button for more awesome content. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one.